What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 4 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, it was a pretty darn eventful episode as we did a bunch of things. First of all, we acquired the Dreckwald province, and we'll be adding a new Elector count to our ranks shortly. And then we had an epic fight against Mr. Kazrak, which was touch and go there for a minute, and Karl's army got very close to being on the verge of being wiped out. But that's the nature of fighting beastmen in the early game, and especially when you purposely walk into their ambush. But at the end of the day, Kazrak was defeated, and the herd of the One Eye wiped out. All thanks, at least in part, to the sacrifice of that follower lord. I don't remember his name anymore. Some guy. Some guy. Truly your name will echo through the ages. Anyway, in addition to all that, Karl decided to do a quest battle and acquired another Runefang, though the Dragon Tooth Reikland Runefang is superior to Beast Slayer in general, so we're going to keep that on him until he gets Galarazz, because since the Beast Slayer doesn't have magical attacks and doesn't have a area buff on it, it's an inferior weapon. But anyway, that will counteract some of the issues that we got, namely the Confederation control will be counteracted by the post-quest bonus, and we can avoid attrition as well, which is nice. And on top of that, we can counteract the casualties that we've taken with Karl and with Dolph Hertwigens as well. All looking pretty darn good. Now, we will have to do a little bit of admin with the newly acquired stuff, but that's just the name of the game for, well, a new Confederation. So, let's get started. Elector counts. Let's start with you, and we're going to make... Ooh, actually, I just thought of something. One moment. Ancillary check. Leopold, okay, see, I don't know who you are, so you're not going to have that item. And I do know who Billings is, and what do we have here? I don't know who you are either. Alright, you lose that. Alright, I know who Conrad Billings is, and Helmut Orr. Alright, well, that's you, isn't it? You I was going to delete anyway, because I'm not a big fan of the Bruiser trait, at least not on this, well, not on this particular warrior priest. We will most likely have some fighty warrior priests later on, but you are not same said fighty warrior priest. You instead can have the Hunter, Hedge Wizard, and... have an Entertainer as well, why not? We can't give them to Lords anyway, so it won't help the guy currently in our territory. Then... speaking of guy currently in territory, you are going to grab the key to the Stadsrod. Like so. Then we are going to take, let's say, City North. And we're going to summon this guy with the Armor Pedigree. I do wish you weren't so expensive, but it is what it is. It's necessary. And then you, Mr. Von Wolfen, are going to go right here. Or maybe... you can meet this guy here. Alright, stay here. And we're going to be swapping troops shortly. Actually, speaking of troops, you're going to come down here as well, and you are going to delete the swords and the flagellants, and I guess the archers at the very least. Basically, the units, well, I mean, there's a bunch of units we'd like to get rid of, but we also want to essentially create two armies. Now, speaking of creating two armies, since Gavin von Wolfen will be now the Elector count of the Dreckwald, even if the Dreckwald isn't really a province. Well, I mean, it used to be an imperial province for those unfamiliar with the lore, but it was destroyed a long time ago. Like, much longer ago than Solend was destroyed, which is also no longer in existence, but anyway. Different situations, though. Solend was destroyed by Gorbad, whereas Dreckwald essentially fell apart over time due to mismanagement, corruption, plague, and of course the Beastmen, as you may well guess. The Dreckwald, named after this massive forest, is full of Beastmen, mutants, and other unpleasant things in the dark corners of the world. So, yeah. Fun stuff and all that, but we've revived it, and we're going to turn it into, hopefully, a money-making powerhouse. Anyway, I want to see what kind of buffs that thing gives you to determine what kind of army you will have. Bonus versus large +10 for spears and halberdiers. Alright, we can do a halberdier army, combine it with huntsmen and the riders of the Dreckwald, or Empire, or Dreckwald riders, Empire Knights. And maybe if you throw a few huntsmen in there, well, that should make a purpose-built anti-beastman army, and we can send you after Malagor, which also makes sense. And then maybe we should possibly send you to hunt down Morgar as well. But anyway, I think I like that. Though I think maybe rather than basic spears, you could probably use Eldred's Guard to power up the halberdiers and give them the bolstered armor aura. I think we got a plan, and I think we can get this army out and about relatively early as well, so that's pretty good. Alright, you guys get ready to swap your troops around. Next up, we have heroes to be dealing with. We still need a warrior priest for Karl, but we're going to use the elusive tactician with the devastating flanker rather than what we had before. And technically, most of Karl's army will already have devastating flanker, but well, we can always swap that guy out if needed. I guess it'll give Karl devastating flanker, which may be a good thing. And next up, we will need. Let's build a champion. We'll need an empire captain, probably actually 2 empire captains for the Drakewald army. And they'll need a mage as well. Frankly, the gun army here, the pistol corps army, is going to need a mage as well. Alright, let's start with 1 at least for now. For the Drakewald army, considering it's an anti-beastman army, I think it makes the most sense to do a Lore of Beasts, an Amber Wizard. And I guess we're going to go hard-headed. It's not the best trait because wins a magic power reserve capacity -10 is very iffy. However, out of all the wizards, the Amber Wizard is probably the only one that can take any advantage of this because the Amber Wizard is unique in that it has a Griffin mount, whereas everybody else has, well, regular mounts. Pegasi and Barded Warhorses, but the Imperial Griffins will allow these guys to become fighty wizards, and I really do like my fighty wizards. I always have to stop myself from spamming Amber Wizards as the Empire. Which may sound surprising, considering the Lore of Life is super overpowered and is the best lore, and then it's followed probably by Metal and Fire, but yeah, I really generally like Amber Wizards / the Beast lore. Fighty wizards, plus on top of the fact that they have the kind of spells I like, cheap, spammable spells generally speaking, and they sort of tend towards, especially in SFO, into powering up your units rather than doing massive amount of damage via spells. So they're really good for turning essentially basic units into powerhouses via Visen's Wild Form and Pan's Impenetrable Pelt and Curse of Anra here. So yeah, it's all coming together. But anyway, I think that's enough of heroes. That was fairly expensive. Let me just double check once again. Yeah, you have Myrmidia's Blessing, which will go into a Myrmidia army, but we're a little bit of a ways off. Next up, let's do building. Gunsmith and Barracks are out of Karoberg, simply because they need to be replaced by the Knights Panther Chapter House and the Elector Count's Palace. So we'll build up those shortly. I probably will want to... Okay, wait, you know what? Let's see about upgrades in these territories. Glimdworo is fine, but the Black Pit needs to lose the rally field. We can also... I mean, I guess we'll probably want to build a public order building here rather quickly. So Council of Burgomeisters, I guess. Yeah. That makes sense. Alrighty, Karoberg is more or less fine. Actually, we can get rid of this thing because we already have one, at least at the current time, in Altdorf. And, ooh, actually, speaking of Altdorf, get that Clothier up and running. And then, can we switch you now? I don't think we really need to upgrade the Battle Wizard thing, at least not right now. And we're fine with the Tavern. At least for now as well. We do want to get access to Outriders with grenade launchers, but I think that can wait for a bit. Alright, so switch at least briefly to host Festag. Oh, actually, wait. You know what? Do we have a recruitment reduction thing in here? I think I checked last episode, but I gotta double check now. No, I don't think we do. Alright, fine, then go into host Festag. Alright, and I think that's all the provinces and the stuff that needs to be done. I think then we should probably save on... You know what? Let's build a single tap room here, because we need the public order. Let's upgrade this place, because it's gonna take 8 turns, which is a long time. And then we'll swap to upgrading Marienburg Harbor, but we got a bunch of stuff to build effectively. And I think that's about it. Unless I'm mistaken, there is a bunch of other places where I'd like to swap into host Festag, but we need to actually spend money to make them stronger, and then, well, get back to hosting. Alright, well, I think that's good then. Garrison Lord not moved, unassigned skill points, building upgrade available. Oh, there was one more thing that we should probably do, or maybe two more things that we should probably do. It's a Confederation. There's always going to be admin, though this is not related to that. Somebody in the comments suggested that we should really get a move on building the outpost in Elftown, simply because this is the only location they'll ever have, and it's the only way we'll get to do it, so construct outpost. I appreciate the reminder. Although admittedly these guys don't have very good troops, and we'll need other elven friends, hopefully, to get the rest of their roster, especially since, for example, for the Myrmidia army, I believe Myrmidia likes lions and eagles as her, like, holy symbols. At least, I think crows as well? Or is it ravens? I don't remember, it's been a while, but anyway. The elves and the Cathians both have access to those types of units, and that might work well for Myrmidia's army. Anyway, that was one thing, and let's get at least a couple of names in there. Imperial Foot, you can be Order of the Reich. And then let's do the Reichsguard here. You can be, oh wow. You can be Kaiserlich Reitergard. Alrighty, there we go. And keep getting those names in there, folks. I usually only start naming things when they're in the armies that they're supposed to, you know, belong in, so it takes a little bit. We're still going to be moving around a lot of troops, and I'm yet unsure what the army compositions in the early game are going to be. But anyway, building upgrade available, ignore and turn. Well, that's not good. Well, this is why military alliances are so dangerous, because the AI is a moron and will do things like this. So the Middenland is basically broken, and despite that, rather than, you know, consolidate, maybe get the territories, all the territories that were destroyed by Kazrak, and by the looks of it, one about to be destroyed by whatever these guys are, they're going to randomly declare war on Clan Skull and Clan Creepus. Two Skaven clans, one of which is, by the looks of it, reasonably powerful, and ooh, this is going to cause a problem for us. They're right beside East End. Well, fortunately we do have the Confederated army down here. Well, yeah, just gonna have to deal with it. Enter war inside of Ally. We're certainly not going to break the alliance. This is exactly what I expect from Todbringer. Alright, we got another one of these. Fealty of all Elector counts +1. Well, that's probably going to be pretty useful right now, since we just lost 2 due to the Confederation. And did I read this one already? Let's give it a quick read. It has come up to the attention of another Elector count or Elector that you were a target of bribery many years ago, having taken a vast payment from the Merchant Guild early in your tenure. In return, you lobbied against tightened regulations on their businesses and were not the only head of state to ever have done so. The Elector has proof of your acceptance of the Merchant Guild's gold. Although a minor blot on your past, he is threatening to reveal the evidence to the other Electors unless you give him considerable compensation. It may be ancient history, but the information will surely cause the other Electors to question your character and place amongst their number. Show your own hand. The other Elector was naive to think they were the only one with dirt to play. No one will dare stand against you once they know what you know. Fealty of all Elector count factions +1. Prestige -1000. Alright. Person Revivalist and Ropsman Clan Confederation. Alright, USAC destroyed. Liberers of Jar. Lorelorn Outpost construction. Ready for duty. Some guy. Mass-produced small ammo. Ammunition and reload time reduction for missile units going to be needed since that army is about to go off on its own and do its own things. Barded Warhorse, for Richter von Wolfen. Who the heck is Richter von Wolfen? Huh? Okay, okay, I don't know who that is. Probably a dead guy. This is all good. We'll ignore the Barded Warhorses. Then, new tech. Which one will we do? We could go all the way through Trained Marksman for more missile damage, but I think it's pretty necessary to start moving through state-issued weapons. Granted, state troop standards is kind of terrible, but, well, minus the 10% speed, which is great, but, yeah, we really need the +4/+4, because when combined with the red line, that's a +10/+10, and it's pretty solid, especially for units like halberds and stuff, which we're about to start using in pretty decent numbers. Anyway, the Clan Skull, you need to be dealt with. Huh. Are you able to... Okay, wait, let me just see here. Are you able to go through the water and then immediately land in the East End? Because that would protect the place from Skull. It looks like you are. Beautiful. Alrighty, then Mr. Gavin. You're gonna have the Beast Wizard, and you're gonna have the Champion, right? Yes, alright. Empire Captain, well, you know what, let's start with the Beast Wizard, because we might put 2 Empire Captains, 99% likely, into your army. Then you're gonna go here. And, no, you're going to land in East End. And you are going to trade to him. I mean, trade everything, we don't actually need you, to be fair. Granted, some of these troops need to be delivered elsewhere, but if Clan Skull is liable to attack us, then it's not, yeah. You have leader of an... Oh, you can reduce... you know what, we can make use of this. I wanted to... Okay, you leave this place. I wanted to recruit some Outriders. I just want to make sure that this guy doesn't get killed outside of the settlement, so we're going to move him away. And then Jürgen Wagner, you are going to be of use as well. You, Kurt, are also in need to transfer stuff to this... Well, actually, technically, you need to transfer stuff to this army. This army is going to travel southward to start swapping those troops around. But I guess since it already has 20, you can sort of wait around for it. And then deliver the rest. Not much we can do about that. I guess we could reduce your cost, though, by moving you to Jürgen Wagner here. Trading those troops. And then deleting you personally, because you have nothing of use to us. Like so. Alrighty, then you are supposed to join Karl, so you're going to travel through the woods to go up there. You're going to do the same, join Karl. It's going to take a while traveling through those forests, but it is what it is. Karl, you're going to spend one more turn healing. Definitely have to make full use of the casualty replenishment rate, and then we'll most likely besiege Vorbegwerk, and then... Okay, these guys will have a pretty solid stack by then. I'm sure Karl can deal. Alrighty, and... Wow. Why did Bruckner get so badly damaged? I guess the auto-resolve didn't like him for whatever reason. Anyway, you're good where you are, and we will be building stuff in a second. Let's see what else needs to move. Volkmar's scout, guess where you're going. Do you need to land now? Or do you keep going down the river? Oh, we would need to cross the... Oh, actually, no, we'd need to go here. Meaning, you're free to go down the river and then land somewhere here. I assume you can't go down this side. Yeah, alright. Alright, and then a Wolfheart Scout, you have a long way to go. You know what? Actually, we're going to use you to cut across the mountains then. I want to see what's going on in Bretonnia, and I want to identify the Sigmarsheim faction, just in case. We might confed them. It's a possibility. I don't think that we can leave it to the Bretonians to deal with the curse of Mousillon, because they're kind of terrible at dealing with Mousillon, historically speaking. Anyway, Garrison Lord not moved, unassigned skill points, building upgrade available, we'll deal with in a second, and okay, we'll not end the turn. Now, let's see what we need to build. These things obviously need to be built, but they're super expensive right now. Karlberg. The landmarks that you have give a massive amount of control between the two of them, and I think that is necessary to be built right now, though expensive, admittedly. You can then build the weaving house for money. We need to build another weaving house here, but only after it's upgraded. I guess we could upgrade the Imperial Harbor as well. Yeah, alright, well, that will make us at least some cash, and, well, we're gonna need plenty more of it. The Black Pit, you will need a tap room, which you can no longer afford. Ooh, but the debuff will end, and then, alright, fine. I guess then instead of this, we will build the tap room in the Black Pit. Expensive though it may be. And that's all we can afford, isn't it? Unless somebody's willing to give us a bunch of cash. Alright, so what do we have here? Great Orthodoxy. They want a non-aggression pact, and I think we can do that. Yeah, we'll do that. Hopefully the Ice Court won't be too pissy about it. Let's do this. Alright, next up, Paravant and Gisoho, we are going to ignore for now. Telebeckland, we don't care for your missions. Gisoro, same situation. Hawkland is fine, and that's everybody. Oh, wow, Bloodfeather don't even want to peace out. That's kind of shocking. I imagine you're going to have a bad time dealing with Karl, but, well, we'll see. Alrighty, the rest of this is looking pretty good, so we'll end the turn again. And I guess, well, maybe not next turn, but in a couple of turns we'll have to start fighting the Skaven. We'll have to send an army dealing with these guys, and it looks like these Skaven are going to start moving towards us. Interestingly, are they no longer at war? No, they are still at war with Nuln. But, you know, anti-player bias and all that. Waffales Creeping Death, thanks for letting us know. Declare heresy. The seeds of heresy. The seeds of heresy is suspected. Are suspected. The seed of heresy is suspected in one of our settlements. The Grand Theogenist has released a witch hunter and charged him to root out the Chaos Taint. Oleg Helborg. Let's see what we got here. Outfitted, so you do higher damage at range. I don't know what the other traits are for these guys, so I don't know if this is good compared to what they have, generally speaking. Probably not particularly, but we'll see. Let's see what you do. Do you buff range units? So you do have silver powder. Vigor loss reduction when fighting chaos, unsurprisingly. Snipe, Grim Resolve, Accusation. Don't you have the ability to summon a Witch Hunter retinue? Was that a thing? Am I crazy? Yeah, retinue right here. Alrighty, and let's see. Devout Hunt on Death, so we've got the... This can anti-undeath sort of deal. Enemy missile resistance -8. Oh, it's particularly for characters. Retinue Disciple. So basically nothing crazy. You could certainly work in a ranged army with Free Company Militia, though. So we could probably pop you in there. And the extra range from extra powder probably wouldn't go amiss either, assuming that we don't... Oh, you started... Oh, you haven't started Separate Contrition, but you will soon. You also have extra powder. But I guess that could be deployed in different parts of the line, which, fair enough. Hello, Tradesman, income from trade tariffs, good. Coachman, income from trade tariffs as well, good, also good. Diplomatic relations, what is this from? Ranked up while gaining a large income via trade. Okay, hopefully we can get a lot of those. You're fine, and there we go. Surprising that we haven't gotten any tax collectors, and oh wow, the Skaven are coming. Well, that's appropriate, I guess. Everywhere in the world has a Skaven problem, and we certainly were never going to escape that. Alright, you're gonna move in there, you're gonna move down. No. I misclicked and got the wrong guy. There you go. Alrighty, you, I would like to land here at City North. You need to transfer... Until these guys are ready to trade, we can't really do the swap. Although, just in case the Skaven attack us next turn, we probably could use the additional troops here. So, let's go out to sea. Let's trade you the war wagon and one of the crossbows. And the rest of this, I think, is fine for now. And you go back to City North. And then sit there until we're ready to swap. There we go, and then we'll start pushing this way. Although, oh, what if they're being pushed towards us by Elspeth here, who appears to be moving towards them, eh? Interesting. Alright, Allegiance is still okay with you as well. Anyway, Karl, I would like you to... Ooh, I see that the greenskins have disappeared. I wonder if they're here and ready to move towards us, but I suppose it doesn't matter because we can besiege... Yeah, they're right there. We can besiege Vorbegwerk, and I'm willing to bet that they'll immediately go for us, or... Let me just see here. When we take advantage of the fact that they're away from it and then simply attack it, we will still have to deal with the trolls in the enemy settlement, but that might be the better option. Plus, then we get to fight this turn. And I do like that. Alright, let's get Leader of Men. Elector count, state troop pool capacity +1, and leadership aura size +50. We're definitely going to have that. Actually, speaking of the state troops... Okay, wait. Two things to do. First of all, you guys go there. Please don't get assassinated by this guy. It's happened way too many times to me that you get a hero and then they immediately get assassinated. But what can you do? If it happens, it happens. Oh, we got another drill sergeant. Certainly something to keep an eye on. What about the warrior priests? Let's take a look at them as well. Holy Warrior, Faith's Bastion, Guardian. Oh, you have a Guardian one. That's not bad, though we can get those on... Via skills, we can get those on the Empire Captains, unless I'm crazy. No, we can. Alright, so maybe not super necessary. Anyway, Gavin von Wolfen, we need to get you prepared to fight. Let's get you Emperor's Finest. Plus Armor's Pedigree should power up those halberdiers and spears nicely. Like so. And as for the rest of what your army is going to be made up of, it's probably going to be Speed of Horse, but for now we'll do... Need to be rank 10. Oh, let's probably start saving points. We'll do Drakewald Riders, which are Empire Knights. So we'll do this. Vigor loss reduction for the army as well. Oh. They're not actually listed here. Huh. Okay, I guess we'll find out whether the Drakewald Riders actually count. Oh, I could have got Drakewald Riders in here as well. Alright, you know what? Let's, 2.7k, good lord. That is very, very expensive. We won't be able to build anything else, really. Oh. But we don't necessarily have to get them up and running now, because now that we have the additional Elector count state troop capacity, okay, yeah, then we can wait and build stuff. Let's fight.
Into battle. No peace.
A little break from the admin. Go.
The Empire endures.
Alright, and it'll endure a lot better if we take all the territories like this Imperial town that should belong to the Empire and take them away from those orcs. Anyway, here we go. I wonder if these things have any kind of practical application, or they're just for decoration. Big old spikes at the top of the towers. I mean, it might dissuade a giant or something. Maybe it's just the aesthetic. Anyway, as I was saying, here we go. Karl, now that he has a Deathclaw, can do these types of things, hitting the enemy orc arrow boys up on top of the wall and starting to work his way through them. He applies maim, so that's damage over time. And interestingly, if we get a couple units that apply bleed, we could do bleed and maim together. But anyway, he's got a lot of mass on a Deathclaw plus that damage over time, so he can clear enemies out fairly decent pace, even by himself. 4,400 damage already. And of course, continuing to rise, there we go, and sending more gobos flying down to their deaths. Beautiful. Also, while Karl is working on the walls, we are going to move towards the enemy gate and are starting to attack it with Theodore Bruckner and with one of our, or a couple of our, Imperial Foot. Searing Doom going to come down, and Gehenna's Golden Hound's going to come down as well and clear a few of the enemies within the enemy settlement. Of course, we don't have an artillery piece that can easily break through walls, but, well, I guess we don't need to. And, you know, just to avoid using those ladders, we're just not going to use them. We're going to break through the gate and then make our way into the settlement that way instead. Though, admittedly, it is probably going to take a while, so I'm just going to speed up while we do so. Alright, gonna get a few blasts off with our handgunners on the orc biggins up there, and gonna try to knock out as many of the enemy with the bordermen as we can. Grenades can be launched over those walls after all. Yes, and if the enemy units want to go up on the walls, then the handgunners will be able to gun a few of them down. Plus, we got more magical artillery than mundane artillery in the form of yet another Gehenna's Golden Hounds through the enemy army here. I kind of like the sort of light blue and red color scheme that these guys got going on. Kind of a odd color scheme it feels like for orcs, but I don't know, it's kind of working for me. Anyway, what we're trying to do primarily with the artillery and the magics right now is knock out the archers. We don't really care about the melee infantry or even really the cavalry, just want to make sure that the archers can't fire down upon us. Nice little volley of grenades into the trolls, which have taken about 15% of their HP or so. And not too bad, considering the grenades aren't really meant for that sort of thing. It's now making me wonder whether we can just build a straight-up grenade army. Because we have, what, 3 grenade-type units, right? We have Outriders with grenades, War Wagons with grenades, and now Infantry with grenades. If we should get sufficient amounts of the Elector state troops. Certainly something to consider. Anyway, the gate is still being worked through, but is nearly done. About 5,000 HP remaining. A few more grenades going to make their way over the walls and knock out a few gobs as they do. Also, before I forget, yes, we did reach the engagement threshold, and so this will be an hour-long, hour-adjacent, whatever you want to call it, episode. And the engagement threshold remains 500 likes, 70 comments. The next episode will be of the same length and hopefully caliber. And if we maintain the streak all the way through to Saturday, we will do a double episode on Saturday as well. Anyway, there we go. That took us exactly to the opening of the gate. Finally, I managed to say something on cue. Bruckner will lead the Imperial Foot into the enemy settlement, and we'll take a charge from some trolls. Not to worry though, the trolls are unsupported, and you want to use your monstrous infantry typically with regular infantry in concert. You got to be careful about our own grenades, but between Bruckner charging them, grenades falling upon them, and Karl and Deathclaw working away at them, and those poor trolls quickly drop down to 15% of the HP and then start running. And beautiful. Man, Deathclaw makes even trolls look pretty tiny by comparison. Alrighty, well, that unit is pretty much done for, and Karl's going to head for more. Going to head directly towards a enemy unit of archers, which has apparently survived all those magics and mortar shells that we've been dropping upon them over the course of the battle. But it looks like they will be trying to run away from Deathclaw, which is unsurprising. This is also working out reasonably well in our favor in the sense that it's allowing us to get our troops through the gate. Obviously, without using the ladders, does mean it'll take a little bit longer to do it this way. I'm going to get another cast out, and it's another Gehenna's Golden Hounds non-overcast, just on top of this unit of Night Gobs. Again, every range unit to be cleared out. Frankly, most of the melee units have also been cleared out as well, and the enemy cav will be the main thing that remains in the fight. I do see the enemy Black Orc Big Boss, technically the Lord of the Settlement, running around. I'm getting a little bit of a duel between him and Karl as well. Always lovely to see. And you know, that little bit of a barrier has actually been fairly useful for Karl over the course of the campaign. We'll still probably replace the item, but I don't dislike the idea. You gotta remember to try to make a good use of the various items that provide additional barrier, and possibly put several of them on various mages, especially fighty mages like Amber Wizards. But anyway, for now, the Black Orc Big Boss is down to about half HP. Bruckner has arrived. Not that Karl really needs the help. He's knocked out plenty of lords with ease like this, but it'll just speed the matter up. And oh wow, that poor Black Orc Big Boss, he done. And it's not like he was running away either, as he had 2 arrows. Oh yeah, he does. He has 2 arrows, one directly through his foot and then one in his knee. Alright, anyway, there we go. The enemy range, okay, there's still 1 enemy Night Gob Archer unit remaining, and I see an enemy unit of trolls charging forth. Enemy really should have at least tried to send those boar boys at us, instead of just the trolls. Though the AI, at least because of its cheats, the leadership bonuses, the trolls aren't as likely to immediately rout as they would be for the player. Still, they are still low leadership units, and they will rout. Well, though in this particular case, having lost 4 of their number and 66 whatever % of their HP, it does make sense that they're booking it on out of there. And of course, the Zinthor's Reiksguard with their anti-large are here to help. Karl going to bonk another troll with MARAZ, and we are good on that front. Lovely. Alright, I'm going to speed this up a little bit as we keep getting more units into the settlement, and then reposition ourselves slightly with the hopes of attacking more of the enemy that are still in the fight, as it were. Alright, another Gehenna's Golden Hound clears out another range unit, which is primarily the main threat for this army so far. And it looks like we've got a decent position for our handgunners now. One just behind our troops, and one to fire into the enemy flanks. Also got a pretty nice position to watch the battle from. Bruckner will once again lead the Imperial Foot. I'm still on the fence as to whether we keep Bruckner in this army. That we don't really need him, but at the same time, he should go in Elspeth's army, but does Elspeth really need him? I'm almost tempted to put him in Elspeth's army temporarily, but then eventually split him off to lead a Demigryph Knight heavy force since he buffs them. Because we're probably not going to make either Karl or Elspeth too Demigryph heavy. I generally don't like making you know, already legendary lords even stronger by spamming super elite units in their particular armies, as they're the ones that need it the least. So it's certainly a potential idea to put him in another army. Though, if he were to be put in Elspeth's army, she could give him that item. I don't remember the name of the item. It's been a bit since I played Elspeth, but she can give him like an ancillary, a unique ancillary that gives him regeneration, which he does need because he does have a tendency to get hurt. Anyway, Boar Boy units are out, and they will run, but will get gunned down as they do. Another unit of Boar Boys attempted to do the same thing and charge us over on the left flank, but they get quickly overrun by a combination of Karl leading his Reiksguard. Which also does make sense, and Karl has to have a decent amount of Reiksguard in his army. Kurt Helborg may be the Reiksmarshal, but the Reiksguard are tied to the Reikland family and the Emperor. There we go. And with that, the enemy army shatters and the battle is ours. Lovely. And decisive victory and no problem at all. And I suppose on top of that, we were able to preserve the army and stave off any unnecessary losses. Alright, there we go. I do feel a little bad about that, but, well, we weren't really able to waste the turn waiting, in my opinion, so I just had to take the place. Now, the real question here is going to be whether we want to immediately return it to the Elector, with whom we're okay, or whether we want to occupy it and possibly trade it for all their money. Or possibly even a territory of theirs. Oh, is it Nordland or Middenland that's occupying the territory to the south of us? Well, I wonder what range we have remaining with Karl. Because we don't necessarily have to trade this territory. And this place isn't chaos corrupted. You know what? A return to the Elector will give us the movement range. Let's see how much we have. I want to see whether we can go into an ambush right beside the settlement. I don't think so, but who knows. Return to... Oh, are they even at war with these guys? Because then if we ambush them and they're not at war, then... screw it. Just try it. Just try it. It's all good. And, okay, we don't unfortunately have enough movement range. These guys are... They are at war, though. But we can't ambush. Darn. Alright, well, we're gonna heal up in neutral territory anyway, so that's fine. Assuming these guys don't immediately occupy it. And hey, free smuggler. We'll take it. And a Pegasus. Oh, beautiful. That's a significant power up for the wizard. And you can now have an apprentice. You've earned it. Where's the apprentice? There you go. Lovely. Up to 140 now. We got an earthing rod as well. Wins a magic power reserve +2 per turn. It's okay. Hey, control plus... Whoa. Speed plus 10% for Steam Tank, War Wagon, and Luminarchs. Okie dokie. That's nice. Gavin, you can have... No, not Gavin. Dolph. You can have one of these. Burger, you're definitely going to be using several war wagons, possibly of different varieties, depending on exactly what your army is going to look like. I want to base them around Nordland Mariners, which are the Elector Count state troop of Nordland, and a free company type, but a stronger, more heavily armored free company, essentially. Anyway, let's deal with everybody else, and we'll do building. We'll end the turn. We'll see how the greenskins react to all that. See, so far the Skaven haven't attacked us. I'm willing to wait and see how they react to Elspeth, because we still want to trade these troops. So you guys just sit there. Wolfram, I was going to use you to recruit some stuff, but I think we can't afford it yet. So just stay there. You're costing us 172. Fortunately, the Huntsmasters are very cheap. I wonder if it would be better to land here and just go down this way, because we would have had to land somewhere there anyway. And then Wolfhard Scout, you will travel through Fort Bergbray and then see if we can't find some stuff, assuming we don't immediately attack these guys as soon as we have a spare army out here. Anyway, let's see about the... Ooh, yeah, now the public order is dropping, unsurprisingly. Except in Altdorf, but the huge military presence and stuff makes sense. Speaking of Altdorf, Tailor's Guild, it's generating a lot of cash now. Funnily enough, we might actually want to put the keys to the Stadsrad back into it. Oh, actually... As a single territory, if it's local region, then Palasport will probably be generating more money very quickly. So not necessarily. Anyway, let's do a little bit of money investing. We have to wait one more turn until the Knights Panther chapter has... Oh, we wanted to get you upgraded, but I think we can wait. Let's do anything that gives us additional cash. Definitely the port, the Imperial Harbor here in Reikwald Forest. We could upgrade the tannery for more trading agreements. Our trade is looking pretty good at 3.7k. I think we'll want to relatively early grab Ambassador to the Dragon Emperor, because it should pay for itself relatively quickly due to the income from trade plus 2% from every ally. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Public order-wise, I think we won't be upgrading the Tailors Guilds here, at least not right now. In theory, -8, eh? It's only +2. I guess we'll briefly switch back to host Festag with you. Oh, okay, that's out of order now. All right, let's get back to looking through it in order. Marienburg, your public order is actually okay, so you can sit as you are. And Dreckwald, you will need to build a bunch of stuff. That hasn't changed. So let's start with the Weaving House. But otherwise, your public order should fix itself relatively quickly. You are still relatively okay. Frankly, we could completely fix you up by building a second tap room here temporarily, though that does take most of our money. You need to host Festag, though I'd love to upgrade you. We'll do it later on. And then the provinces that are uncollecting the income should be more or less okay. Glimdwaro, we will want to build a tap room and other stuff here, but we can't afford it right now. Oh, this place. You have a massive problem in the Chaos Undivided Corruption. We should send one of these guys to grab Eldogson as soon as we're done with these guys. But anyway, skip, and diplomacy, and then we'll end the turn. Jisoro still want to be friends, but I think still no, at least not right now, and it looks like that's all. Alright, let's see if these guys... I'm concerned that they're just going to ignore Karl and they're just going to jump to Gorsel, but maybe... Yeah, see, Dreckenhöhle is pretty darn well defended, so maybe they'll sit there. Guess we're about to find out. Guess I should have kept Vorbegwerk, but oh well. Huh, he went north. Alright, well, that's fine, I guess. Talabekland demands city. Return to Talabekland or allow the expansion. That would lower our fealty with Nuln, who are, let's say, in contention, decent contention for being the next Confederation, mostly because it's a legendary lord, but, do we allow them to keep expanding in Talabekland territory? I guess we do. Now, they'll bring Talabekland down to 8, but a single territory will fix that situation, so yeah, fine. Allow the expansion, let Elspeth continue her work. Arcane Fulcrum, ooh, that's nice. It's only in Bokel, unfortunately, though. So actually, we won't get too much benefit out of it. Oh, well. Karl, you... Oh, wow. We can't move far here at all. Huh, okay. I wonder... What's the likelihood of this guy attacking us in the field? I'm gonna hope that it's pretty low. Karl, I'm gonna go right here. I want to see how this guy reacts, but I would like to hopefully be able to reach either one of the places, depending.
Yes, General.
It's also going to give a little bit of extra time for our heroes to reach Karl, so that's good, assuming they don't get assassinated immediately. Here's hoping. Anyway, Elspeth has taken Volgan, and that's fine. She's welcome to Torpen if she can get it. And I wonder if she defeated the Skaven there or no. I guess we'll find out shortly as well. Gavin von Wolfen. Alright, now I think we should be in range to trade. Finally. Alright. This is important. So, who's going to keep what? Alright, I would like you to start this. You're going to trade all the non-movement troops to you. You're going to go... Okay, you're going to go through this. You're going to go here.
The wind carries us.
And then you're going to take the 2 war wagons. That's actually probably more pistoleers than you need, but for now we'll take them. That puts us up to 15. 16 if we count the Sterlin's Revenge Free Company unit. Which is already decent. You'll also need heroes, and okay, some of these guys are going to get replaced by Outriders. We're going to need more war wagons as well, so that's looking pretty okay. You then are... Oh. Wait, you can't move any further? Really? Huh. Why? Just because this guy traded you his troops, but he barely moved. That's unfortunate. And you can't get your stance up and running. Okay, what if we take these guys from you, just out of curiosity? What will that do to your... Okay, no, that just takes all your movement. That doesn't change anything, does it? Well, actually, it sort of does. You can still move like this, though, without the crossbows. But that's fine, because this guy's plenty of crossbows right now. Alright, fine. You're going to go out of here, and you're going to land. And we'll move towards the Skaven next turn. You're going to give this guy these spears, not the... well, pikes. And that's going to be the halberdiers here. I don't think he needs the handgunners, but you know what? Let's just give him everything here for now. Yeah. -1 crossbow. And we'll swap some of those units out. This is probably too many crossbows, but we can probably swap them into handgunners. Maybe get rid of a couple of them. Alright, I think that's good enough, at least for now. I just need to get heroes and stuff going for this guy. You, Witch Hunter, are going to join this army as well. Okay, yeah, go by sea.
On march.
Like so.
Step to it.
And pop into here. Oh, lovely. You will still need a mage and some engineers. You can also go into channeling. Speaking of mages, battle wizard. Just pick a guy. I was set on the light guy, and then we no longer have the light guy. Let's start leveling the fire guy, and then if we want, we can swap him out to a different army. How about that?
What do you want of me?
I think that'll be nice. Alrighty, and then that's about it for... Wait. What about Empire Captains? I do like the Drill Sergeant, although the guy doesn't have a gun, which kind of bothers me for this particular army, and we need engineers. Oh, actually, speaking of engineers, we need to be able to get... Oh, can't afford the Knights Panther Chapter House. We need to be able to actually get engineers up and running, and to do so, we will need to build the engineering building, which is going to, you know, cost. You can do either paved roads or weaving house. I guess weaving house will pay for itself and give us more money, so we'll do that. Let's make as much cash as we can, and instead of, I guess we can upgrade... Ugh. Expensive. But nonetheless, we gotta keep the money flowing, and I believe that's it. Alright, Karl, stay there. We'll see if they attack you. Let's send out the scouts, and let's go to next turn and see if we can't find a fight. And I will continue considering which wizards go into which army. Alright, there we go. Indecision 2020, whatever year it is. Skip. And turn. Oh, the Skaven are going to attack us. Well, we haven't fought Skaven much yet, and while this is a horrifically unnecessary amount of troops. Actually, you know what? We could just auto-resolve this. I just realized because Elspeth hasn't reached the territory, meaning we could just attack her next turn, or attack the place next turn. I don't imagine anybody will take too much damage from this. This is terrible. I guess they tried to use Stalking Stance to kill off Wolfram Frankenwerder, but frankly, even if he had died, we wouldn't care. Really? We lost 750 troops to this? It's insanity, but that's auto-resolve for you. Fair enough. And we will take the money. Oh, the Greenskins will also decide to attack Karl. That one makes sense. It's not going to be a difficult fight, but I think we want to fight it rather than auto-resolve because I don't want to sort of take a lot of damage with Karl again, at least until he has a warrior priest to heal him quickly. Those other armies we didn't really care about, and we also outnumbered the enemy horrifically. So let's do this real quick. Plus we're in march stance. That significantly reduces the stats of all our units. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Just a small fight, but necessary in my opinion. I don't think anybody's going to be tired of seeing Karl's army fight anytime soon, especially since Karl's, being the main army, is the army that constantly will switch what it has going on as we change up its troops, since we can't directly build what we eventually want to have in his army, so it'll be slightly different with effectively every battle, which is a good thing. Got that gold wizard on a Pegasus now, which is great since we can now apply that aura of his to get the additional armor on everybody nearby, and it's unlikely thus that he'll be locked in melee. It looks like Bruckner gets hit with a spirit leech from the enemy river troll hag. Annoying because he's already has a tendency to get damaged. Maybe we should put an armor on him that gives him missile resistance, spell resistance. I'll think about it. Anyway, in the meantime, Karl will peel away from the rest of his army. We gotta try to knock out the enemy mages, i.e. the Goblin Great Shaman, who uses Madcap Mushroom and Sneaky Stabbin' on himself. That is so adorable. Yeah, I don't... Great Shaman, Sneaky Stabbin' may power you up slightly, but I don't think it's going to help against Karl and Deathclaw. I mean... Oh, poor little guy. Oh well, the rest of the army, however, are not to be underestimated. If forest goblins and night goblin fanatics can tear through iron breakers, for those that watch the Warband campaign, they can certainly tear through Imperial state troops and possibly, probably, even the Order of the Reich and the other unit of Imperial foot, if we're not careful. On the bright side, though, once again, we have the one unit of Bordermen here, which can easily obliterate units of Gobs, but we gotta be real careful with them, and generally speaking, it's safer to turn off their auto-fire and pick units to fire at, because, you know, if you let them auto-fire, they will pick the worst possible unit to fire at, and then they will kill half of your own unit in a single volley. And another Spiritly John Bruckner, damn the AI. Oh, well, what can you do? Anyway, Karl has obviously killed the enemy lord. Now he's going to back away from the rest of the enemies and is going to move towards the giant river troll hag, while the rest of the enemy army has charged our own ranks. So we can see here the forest gobs and the regular gobs are basically having, in fact, they seem to have done more damage to the swordsmen than the swordsmen have done to them. Once again, the lethal poison is a fairly big force multiplier for these guys. And actually, with 48 melee attack, they have significantly more melee attack than the Imperial swordsmen do. Granted, once again, we are missing a +10/+10 due to the lack of the technology and the Emperor's Finest, a red line buff. Obviously, eventually the state troops would become stronger than goblins, at least. But for now, we have to be very careful with them in the early game. Tier 1 and 2 troops, after all, still tremendously weak. On the bright side, though, it makes even these minor battles still interesting enough to actually play. The bounce power, however, is shifting to about 85% in our favor, and the battle will soon be ours. Reichsguard have charged into the enemy's ranks over on both flanks and are working their way through the night gobs. I do believe Karl has also found the river troll hag and has taken her down by about 90% of the HP. A couple more hits and the troll hag will go down. At the very least, no more spirit leeches. There we go. And then we can turn on those pump wagons immediately after. Ooh, another set of spinning loons released from those fanatics, and it looks like they'll move through the Order of the Reich, and we saw that they took about 20% of their damage from that single hit. And we got more of the spinning loons running around. Again, definitely not to be underestimated. Now, that said, it looks like the last of the enemy units are about to be cleared. Nice charge from the Zintler's Reichsguard into the rear of the enemy ranks there. And I do believe the battle is just about done. One unit of Night Goblins remains in the fight over on the left flank, but I think it's just a matter of a couple of seconds until they turn, and with them, the rest of the army will shatter, and the battle be ours. Alright, very nice. Decent little fight. The combination, however, of the Forest Goblins, 67 kills and 13,000 damage, and a unit of Night Goblin Fanatics with those spinning loons is a pretty darn solid combination. Actually, not one I ended up using in my Warband campaign, because technically they're buffed by two different Lord types. Yeah, the lethal poison from the Forest Gobs, allowing them to tear through, I believe it was this unit of swordsmen, tear them to shreds, 13,000 damage and 67 kills. And then the spinning loons with their armor-piercing AoE damage, which we did see in Gorbad's campaign, tear through things like iron breakers. Yeah, it's a great combo. I'm gonna remember that one. Anyway, I don't think we need to heal, although we are somewhat damaged. I'm not saying no to 13,000 gold. 1,300 gold, rather. Your ally has been attacked, Moorsleeb's Howlers. Well, that's annoying, but fine. We were always going to have to deal with them. Enter war inside of allies, and once again, it's Middenland causing issues. Ah, Boris. Alrighty, what do we have here? Westerland has come under attack from greenskins in the region of Burkwater and are appealing to you for military assistance. You join the defense... 1,000 gold or 500 prestige. That is a fair bit of prestige. I guess we'll get the gold back from fighting. I never remember whether we do or we don't, but yeah, sure. Hire nearby mercenaries. Let's see what this looks like here. And oh, I think this is too basic. Wow, we didn't even need to help them. That would have been fine. Wow, we get a Reiksguard and an Outrider with grenade launchers here. Yeah, that's great. Auto resolve, definitely. We get money. Yeah, we get money to counteract that. That's lovely. That worked out well for us. Alright, enemy killed in battle, and that way we didn't have to waste the prestige. Enemy killed in battle, enemy killed in battle. Another entertainer, another hedge wizard. Good. Trickster's helm. Finally, Karl has an armor. As in a proper armor that is better than the enchanted shield. There we go. A little bit of ward save, making him a little bit tankier, especially since he's still using that other trickster shard rather than the healing. Although, perhaps at this point we're ready to switch it out. So let's do this. Okay, so potion of toughness for you. Get a little bit of that healing. Dolph, lose that sort of swift slaying. We will deal with you in a second. And finally, Bruckner has Reaper. He really needed it. Barded Warhorse, courageous. Ready for duty, faction destroyed. Alright, so. Yeah, we do want to get past the stone because we want to build the... Oh, wow, well, we're not waiting 7 turns, but would have been nice. Are we able to move through this forest? Yes, we are. Okay, it's just annoying. So what we want to do here... How well is this defended? Not particularly well. Hopefully we can auto-resolve it. We do have the warrior priest moving in soon.
It will be done.
Okay, we'll deal with this in a second. We will want to take past the stone for ourselves, so we're not going to give it to this guy here.
I am prince and emperor.
Like so. Auto-resolve. We didn't do too much damage. Not too much. We can... You know what? Let's heal so we can auto-resolve again and hopefully not take too much damage again. Alright, pass the stone. Same thing, and auto-resolve. Wow, Bruckner is getting wrecked by the auto-resolve. I wonder why it hates him so much. It's so weird. Well, whatever. Occupy. This place is ours now, and this is what I wanted. The abandoned slash the bleeding stone, the Cain Shrine. As odd as it may seem. Mostly it's for the income from post-battle loot that we get, and frankly, recruit rank +1 own armies faction might is pretty swell. It's expensive, and we will still build it pretty much immediately, or at least next turn. Oh, maybe we defend it with the basic walls? Otherwise, this place probably not going to do too much anyway. Alright, we'll probably do that next turn, as we're probably never going to be up here, and while this is the Ward of Rain, and technically some of these guys' territory, we're not going to bother giving it to them. Enemy killed in battle, another hedge wizard, an Aspo, Tatter Souls, Ward of Rain, and there we go. Alrighty, so there's a couple of things that we want to do here. First of all, Karl, let's get you speed a horse, and then I guess we'll start moving through Honest Steel, was it? He's going to want the Great Swords, the Karoberg Great Swords, probably a couple of Teutogen Guard as well, and maybe the Royal Altdorf Griffites. Yeah, alrighty, so let's go through Honest Steel, try to get him stand your ground as well. Bruckner, level 12 now, gives you Savage Soldier, Thundering Attacks, and Frenzy. You really need the ward save, and maybe the game knew that he constantly got damage, because casualty replenishment for him in particular, and additional ward save. Again, he really needed it. Yeah, the cooldown, this is a great spell or ability, so we should use that. The Fearsome Combatant, leadership reduction, removes immunity to psychology, pretty solid as well. Alpha Griff we will grab just because of the principle of the thing. Oh, it doesn't really do anything right now. You know what? We'll wait. And I'm going to forego getting the Hand of Judgment slash the Champion of None. Again, I'm pretty sure that this will give us desyncs and... Well, I guess we could always reset him, but for now, we'll ignore it. And in previous times, I've noticed that the Executioner ability does do desyncs. We can't really use We Are the Elite yet, but we can do the other version of We Are the Elite that gives us damage. Especially since he doesn't have more hard to hit here. Alright, and then the Wizard, you are trying to get towards Arcane Conduit, so Final Transmutation to Arcane Conduit. Now let's go Studious Pupil, as we'll want to grab one of these abilities. Probably either the Chance, maybe the Chance? Because we'll need Tech Thieves up and running shortly. Alright, good. Up to 5,000 gold per turn, looking a lot better. And we'll bounce back towards Dreckenhöhle, and we'll pop the Warrior Priest in there. Plus, okay, let's see. There's probably a couple of troops that we can get rid of out of this army, because A, we will most likely want to pick up the Wait. The next available Imperial Foot, and maybe even the Borderman. Again, Karl gets a lot of buffs for these guys, for the state troops. And those are decent options for him. I'm just taking a look at what variants of things we have. And he's not going to have a lot of range units, but just a couple of Bordermen is a fairly significant bit of power. These guys can also become halberdiers now, I assume they can, so we could probably send them elsewhere. Alright, so here's what we'll do. First of all, do we have... Oh, we have another marksman commander. Oh, and we have another logistically minded guy. I was hoping for one of these. Okay, well, this is going to be an expensive turn. Alright, public order. Where is our worst Confederation problem? Tom, probably. Oh, actually, yeah, Tom is a good option, because we can put you into Schilderheim until we get the Dream Wine from the location here. So, we'll get you, Mr. Logistically Minded. Control. And then we're going to say, I don't know, call you Governor. Alrighty, and... Root Marcher into Iron Disciplinarian, and... I guess we could go through to Statesman if we save up points, or... Well, character experience gain plus 15% is probably useful, so let's do this. Irrepressible. Ambush, Logistician, Upkeep, and... Okay, yeah, the rest of that is not, so you can hold on to the point. And then I guess we can also name you Conrad Governor. Yeah. Probably gonna be the same, eh? Governor. Billings. Alrighty, just so I don't get constantly confused by their stuff in the list. Now, Dolph Hertwigans, you are going to grab the Sterlin's Revenge. Anything else that you want from here? Not really. Alright, so you're going to grab the Sterlin's Revenge. Hey, that gives us missile focus, which is perfect, because we're going to recruit some Outriders for you to complete your army. And of course the Mage, which is going to pop into your army as well. Next up, Wilfred. No, Gavin, you are going to... Okay, you're going to... Okay, wait. I got this. You're going to trade one of the crossbows away. At least for now. And then you are going to grab the Drakewald Riders. Ugh, with the horrific expense, but nonetheless. And then you're going to proceed to Torpen, which we will probably take for ourselves and then trade to Elspeth. And they've got a little bit of units there. It's a... Oh, it's a walled settlement. Wait, do you have a siege attacker on you? You do not, do you? Okay, well, funnily enough, wait a moment. Wait a moment. Don't you have siege attacker? You're an engineer. You're a sapper, yes. We could use you to do this. I'm going to assume that you can actually reach the place and then we don't have to waste a turn, because I'd like to get these armies moving. Well, this one's kind of not quite super ready yet, but it's getting there. And the other one still needs a little bit of a recruitment. Alright, I think then these guys... How much does it cost to recruit a crossbow unit? 713, they're pretty cheap. Although I do like the fact that they've racked up a little bit of XP. And we could upgrade them to handguns, can we not? Handguns cost 1,000 to recruit. 400 to upgrade.
Work to do.
Maybe it's not worth it then. You know what? I'd rather save the cash right now. Delete these guys. We've got other things that we need to recruit. Delete. Alrighty, and then Jurgen... Okay, well actually then, Wolfram, you are no longer needed here, right? Oh, actually you have leader over now. Alright, so go into East End. Then we're going to have you recruit a couple of Outriders. Like so, they take 2 turns, at least for now a couple. Actually a couple is probably not enough for that particular army in terms of what it wants to do. I guess we could build a 3rd. All the money goes away. That's fine. Alright, then you are going to break this off. Like so. And then Dolph, we'll have you hit Torpen. Like so, and Frank, let's face it, this is a waste of our time. How to resolve. It'll do a little bit of damage, but hopefully it'll be okay. We are not going to return it to the Elector. We're going to occupy it for ourselves and trade it to Elspeth for her cash. Got another Light College Acolyte and some other decent stuff. Now, you guys are going to, or one of you is going to go hunt these guys. I wonder what's in their army. I see more Skaven. You need more halberdiers, which we'll get to work on soon, and we'll need to deal with your items shortly as well. I don't care for the Berserker's Sword, and I don't care for the Sword of Swift Slang, so we're going to fuse those into an Ogre Blade, which I, funnily enough, also don't really care for. The rest of this is, I guess, okay for now. Asp, though, I do like the poison attacks. And Sword of Battle is fine, +6/+6. It's like the Fencer's Blades used to be. So keep the rest of this. I'm gonna give it to some units once we can get, well, using them. Alright, then the other thing. Grandmaster, we have another Armorer's Pedigree, so we'll get you on field here. Or what? Or was it the General of the Empire that I wanted? Because I did want to get a upkeep in own territory. Tactician. Oh, we actually could put you to use, maybe guarding the coast, because we're going to want to take the territory of some of these guys. Marksman Commander. I want to get the artillery army up and running relatively soon, in the next couple of episodes, because mortars and cannons and just generally Imperial artillery is fairly cheap, so I think that'll be nice. So we'll get you on field now. And we'll swap some of Karl's units to you, but for now you can also lose your horse because it's expensive, unnecessarily expensive, I should say. Alright, gonna suffer attrition here, but whatever. Channel, and also get yourself the Inspiring Presence and the Root Marcher, and then the rest of this, well, I'm gonna have to hold the line. The rest of the stuff you can ignore for now. Alrighty. Billings is the governor, so he can be ignored. Jurgen Wagner, you can be ignored for now, though you will be leading an army. Volkmar's Scout, you need to go keep finding that Volkmar. And Wolfhard Scout, go figure, go find that Wolfhard. Alright, next up, Philip von Vulcan, you, I forgot who you are. Oh, you're the guy that's supposed to join Karl, yes. And that's why we got this guy on field, because we're going to need to trade Karl's troops, or at least some of Karl's troops. Like 4. 2 heroes, and then Imperial Foot and stuff. Alrighty, and that's it. Next up, Diplo. See if anything interesting... Wow, everybody wants to be friends now. Bugman's Brewery. They have 5 territories, which has me greatly concerned, I will admit. That's a lot of territory there, a lot of Imperial territory, I should say, that they're occupying, which is a bit of a shame, but, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. I see that we can't trade with anybody. Bordello Errant, I'm willing to bet that we should be non-aggression friends with you. Though you probably won't like it if we attack some of the other Bretonnian factions and conquer them. No trade agreements as yet, though we could trade with Bugman's if we wanted to, and we could even... Yeah, Bugman's really likes us. I don't want to wipe them out, but if they take like 20 territories in the Empire, what choice will we have? It's just the system that we got to work around, right? Anyway, we get a little bit of money out of that. Let's see what we can build up for, you know, not crazy expensive. You. Oh, wait, are you telling me that we can get the Karlbergs recruiting right now? Jurgen Wagner, go to... Is Gudenholz part of this territory? No, you have to go to Karlberg. You go to Karlberg? Oh, you're just short of it by like 1... Actually, go here. I'm curious whether you can immediately start recruiting it or whether you need something else. No, you can't start. Alright, it's 3,000 gold, and it's exactly as much gold as we have, which is fate. We're going to get it. It's Karl's legendary unit, or, well... You know, he buffs greatswords and all that, so may as well spend the next million turns recruiting. Might as well also get you Inspiring Presence and Root Marcher. Alright, there goes all of our cash that we got out of that. We got 4 left, and I guess then we can't build anything else. It's all good. Confederation debuff's going to be gone in a turn. Garrison Lord and Assigned Skill Points are not moved. I guess we're ending the turn, and... There could be a full stack here. I wonder if these guys, if Elspeth's going to push on towards /scratch deep. Alright, well. Ooh, the quest for Galarazz. Yes, please. Alright, we will probably do this very episode. And now, game, please. I'm busy. The Great Debate. At a recent congregation of the Elector Counts, there was a lengthy discussion about the separation of the religious cults from matters of imperial policy. There is much polarization in the group on what is a highly charged issue. Eventually, an argument breaks out between the Elector Counts of Solland and Ostland, who are on opposite sides of the argument, with both looking to you to lend your voice to their argument. You have said little about about your thoughts on the subject until now. You feel little will come of this debate, but a leader of your standing cannot be seen to sit on the fence on matters of great import, such as this. And whose fealty do we care more about? Probably Solon's, because they're more contiguous to us than Ostland is, which is pretty far away. So +2 fealty of Solond, I guess. Alright, Sarl destroyed. Looks like Boris is doing decently well, assuming it was him or somebody else. How's Bretonia doing, by the way? They seem to be struggling by a fair bit against the Drowned. Silostra is not quite overrunning the northern parts of them. It's not going so well. Now, okay, there we go. State troop standards, which is great. Blue Vipers somewhere, hopefully not near us, but it shouldn't be. Wolfhearts, what the heck? Why can't I click you? Huh? I literally can't click him? What is this?
At once, sir.
Did he already move?
Yes, my lord.
Whoa, what the? Okay, that was very strange. Huh, some kind of weird visual bug. Well, it is what it is. I see that we've spotted Mousillon. I guess the danger of that is that they'll come and attack us, but anyway. Volkmar Scout. No bug from you. Well, at least you should be able to find Gelt relatively soon. Philip von... Oh! Ha! Alright, well, I said they're probably not near us, but they were very much near us. Well, now here's the issue. I wanted to... Alright, hopefully this doesn't screw us over. Alright. You. Take from Karl his... Wait.
The nation calls.
The swords are higher level. We want at least 2 of them to become great swords, probably 4 of them to become great swords. The halberdiers can already become great swords, but again, I'm worried about this killing off our movement range. So you're going to lose these 2 spears for now. And then Karl, you are going to go this way. This guy in the way? Okay, go this way, just in case.
So
I want to lose as little movement range as possible. Because I'm not 100% sure that we can actually reach these guys. Then we are going to... You know, I guess we can... Yeah, okay, fine. We'll get the state troops over there. You can move into the army. And you can move into the army. And I'm hoping that they actually fight rather than run. It remains to be seen, though.
Summon the Elector Counts.
And let's level up and then let's summon the Elector Counts now. Training and then Blade Master, and then we'll save the rest of the points, and then you probably replenish troops. No probably about it, in fact. Alright, at least we got some Savage Orcs to fight randomly, but I'm happy with it. Declare war. Don't bother calling allies. Alright, and they will indeed fight, and we do have to be careful here. The massive physical resistance of the enemy units is going to be a certain issue. Savage Orc Boarboy Biggins can and absolutely will tear Reiksguard to shreds, as I've seen in my Gorbad campaign, so we gotta be careful about them as well. Anti-large and massively physically resistant and frenzied and all that. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Big old pile of Savage Orcs. And I know, we've been very Karl heavy in terms of his army. And I promise the next episode we will have other armies actually get into some fighting. It's just the nature of the early game. Anyway, looks like the enemy lord is not being protected currently, so Karl will land and try to knock him out. Gotta try to prevent him from casting those gazes of Mork at a distance, as they are fairly annoying. Unfortunately, it looks like he runs to the safety of the Savage Orc Boarboy Biggins, and them being anti-large, we're just going to back Karl away. And wait until we can hit that Savage Orc Shaman again. In the meantime, more Savage Orcs are moving towards us. We've got a formation. Okay, wait, I haven't talked about the formation here. Again, the Order of the Reich and the other unit of Imperial Foot are essentially just out front, a little bit away from the rest of the army, such that they're the ones that take the brunt of the hits, as they're the most likely to actually survive those. We've kept the 2 units of Reiksguard in the reserves, with the unit of Swordsmen in the center, essentially protecting the bordermen, but just just to allow them to fire as much as possible. The 2 units of handgunners are sort of able to fire through any gaps that the enemy chooses to charge through while they go through the Order of the Reich, who again are immune to flanking, or the Imperial Foot are immune to flanking, which means it's not a big deal that they're a little bit out front like this, such that they won't suffer the penalties of getting hit in the back or in the sides, which is why it's safe to do this. Anyway, in the meantime, the Giant has arrived together with the Trolls, and we're going to move our Empire Captain and Theodore Bruckner, who now has a Reaper, his Demigryph, to try to deal with that Giant. We will have to be a little bit careful since Bruckner is still hurt at about 50% of his HP, but not to worry, he does not stand alone, as Karl Franz will hit that Giant and those Trolls as well. And that's a pretty big threat. I mean, look how tiny Reaper looks compared to Deathclaw. You still get pets, though. Both of you get pets. Anyway, the bounce power is still only about 65% in our favor, maybe closing in on 70 now, especially now that the Bordermen are beginning to fire into the blob of Savage Orcs. They may have massive amounts of physical resistance, but, well, grenades still pretty unpleasant for them. Got our first Warrior Priest on the field as well. But it looks like he won't be needing to get into or wade into the fray all that much here. More enemy units have arrived over on our left flank, or at least at the very least more Savage Orcs. It looks like the enemy Savage Orc Boar Boys got themselves stuck. The AI likes to send their cav essentially around the flanks, which makes sense, but they do get slowed down a fair bit by moving through trees like this, and now they're separated from the rest of the army, which is a pretty major problem for the enemy, as they are rapidly losing infantry numbers, which they really needed to work together with those Savage Orc Boar Boys. Anyway, the enemy Giant is down to about 20% of its HP and is routing now that Karl has dealt heavy damage to it, and is now going to go after that Savage Orc Shaman, who takes about 20% of his HP with Karl's first blow. And that, keep in mind, is Karl without MARAZ. He will eventually hit incredibly hard, though he's already hitting at a pretty solid 780 weapon strength. Enemy Lord is down to below half HP and is terrified and running from Karl by the looks of it. The bounce power has shifted to about 90% in our favor, and, well, maybe 85. And by the looks of it, the left flank was where the battle has been will be decided, rather. Most of our heroes are not over here. And Karl isn't over here either, so it does make sense that this is the place where more of the enemy has survived. Love seeing those halberdiers, definitely going to make them a mainstay of several armies as well. That classic Imperial unit aesthetic. And we definitely got to get some greatswords. Ooh, okay, if I remember after this battle, we should upgrade a couple of our units into greatswords before maybe going into the next fight. It doesn't feel right for Karl not to have some greatswords in his army. And yes, in theory, we should use Teutogan Guard as greatswords in his army, because they'll get a lot of buffs from Karl specifically, but it'll be a bit before we can get them in decent numbers. Anyway, looks like the Boar Boys have cleared out and are going to rout. We have won this fight, and by the looks of it, without too much in the way of casualties. Funnily enough, I think the Goblins, even that smaller Goblin army, managed to rack up more kills than the Blue Vipers did, which is quite surprising because Savage Orcs are insanely strong. All right, there we go. That honestly went a fair bit better than I thought it was going to go. It always feels like when you, the player, use the Savage Orcs, especially in numbers with plenty of biggins and whatnot, they always feel incredibly overpowered against the AI, but the AI isn't obviously quite as good with them. And we got a very nice 2.7k out of that. Very nice indeed. Pardon captives. As odd as that always feels when you're playing against the greenskins, or frankly like 80% of the other factions. We're not pardoning dark elves or greenskins or etc. Anyway, 34,000 damage to the Borderman, despite the physical resistance, is Still pretty solid. I think if we can get a Lichbone pennant on these guys, it would be a fairly big buff to this army as well. Reiksguard did okay. Karl, 28,000 damage, almost on par with the Borderman, and that's while killing off the Lord and the Giant as well. So that's Karl for you. Now, unfortunately, I think these guys will be able to back off far enough away that we won't be able to catch them. Yeah. And I assume you won't be able to help out with that either. Now, what you can, however, do for Mr. Karl... Well, I was about to say you can summon summon these guys, but I guess we can wait on it. Alright, fine. Just wait on it. Oh, was that an immediate horse for Mr. Warrior Priest? I guess the question is, do we actually want him on a horse? I'll have to think about that one, simply because it makes him more difficult to kill when he's off the horse, and generally speaking, he's going to be just with our melee infantry. Actually, speaking of our melee infantry, you, halberdiers, you are to become great swords. Yes, we do have a tier 3 building. Okay, I was just, wait a second, do we have a barracks? And yes, we do. So, you two will become great swords. For Karl to buff. I don't know how much they cost. So base they're 275. Under Karl they're 292. Oh wow, okay. That didn't help. At least not that much. I guess he doesn't actually reduce their upkeep. Reduces Empire Knights and Order Knights, so that's Reiksguard. And he reduces Elector count troops, and though he buffs great swords, he doesn't actually reduce their costs. That's a fair bit of a buff though. Yeah. Alright, plus, I mean, we're going to put the Karlbergs in his army, and it feels like, you know, if we're going to do that, we may as well pop in some regular greatswords. You two will become halberdiers to take the place. The halberdiers now gone, though you won't be staying in this army, at least not for much longer. You've certainly earned these slightly bigger weapons. And frankly, these swordsmen should also become halberdiers. I will lament the loss of the additional shielding, but nonetheless. Alrighty, and that looks pretty good to me. These guys, I mean, Karl has been getting way more battles than everybody else, so it does make sense. Now, we are at 3.8k prestige, which I think means, in the name of contiguity, Elspeth, you... and Countess Emmanuel, but isn't that a null? I guess it's time to unify you and get another Confederation debuff. Why right now? Because we are going to do the Galarazz quest, which will counteract this. Might as well. And it's a 5-turn cooldown on Unify, so it's going to take a while to get them all, so I feel like we should take advantage of it. Plus, Elspeth is a legendary lord, and we want her on field. Unify. And there we go. River Talabek, Wissenland, Grissenwald, Upper Tiffel, and Nuln. There we go. Fair bit of provinces, and minus 3,000 gold per turn, which will hopefully be fixed. Oh, Golgi's running around. Alright, so what do we have here in Altstad? So I see Elspeth didn't build the Black Rose Stables or the Nuln Cannon Foundry, but at least it is a tier 4 settlement. She does have the Wizard Campus, though. Who's this? Darklands Bandits. Okay, you know what? Let's take a quick look at Diplo, because that will have changed things for us, because we just got a bunch of trade goods from that, well, from what we just did, which means Diplo. I also would like to see... Okay, wait, you know, before we do that, where's Grand Cathay? Somebody suggested that if we are able to ally... we don't see them yet, unfortunately. Somebody in the comments of the previous episode suggested if we were to find the Grand Cathay faction that is near to the... What are they called? Near to Volkmar, then we would be able to... We're not able to just directly confederate you, are we? No, we're not. Okay. Unfortunate. Then we'd be able to identify Volkmar without having to go all the way down there, which, you know, certainly reasons for doing so. Hawkland and Ostland and Solon will be doing defensive alliances with you in a second. I want to see what else we have as options. So Carrick Hearn is an option. They will, well, that'll piss off the Wood Elves. Ugh. But it is what it is. But they really want to trade, and perhaps... perhaps it's factions that we want to trade with less. Bordello Errand. Let's do you. Alright, hopefully a few more factions still want to trade. Talabekland's basically destroyed, that's a waste of our time. Darklands Bandits are a decent option because they will... Now, they'll get wiped out. They are a decent option, but they will get wiped out. The Great Orthodoxy, very decent option. Let's do you. No defensive alliance as yet, but we can get the money. We're going to need it to deal with all of this. Karakazor probably going to get wiped out. Well, then again, they might be safe enough. We'll see. Anyway, Nordland wants to trade as well, though funnily enough we'll be confederating them relatively soon. Arguelon no longer willing. Alright, fine, let's do Nordland.
It's good to see fellow sons of the Empire's
That'll make him at least a little bit happier with us. Ignoring Talabekland, we should probably do Carrick-Herne, and we may as well get military access and all of this. For money. Alright, thank you, Herne. Alright, we really needed that money, and I think this is probably going to be a good opportunity to spend 10,000 gold to get the bonus trade. We're gonna need it. Especially with the bonus allies. Bonus allies coming in. Karakazor. I'll do the alliance with you as well. Like so, also for money. Beautiful. Then... Non-aggression pact with Carcassonne. No trading as yet, but it'll happen eventually. Alright, then we've got the western provinces nearly ready for a non-aggression pact. We will declare war on Kuj or Kui, and we'll get the non-aggression pact from you like so. Alright, Aranok. Yeah, we can do the non-aggression with the Wood Elves. Let's do it.
Speak briefly. I can see you.
I'd rather not have to wipe them out, because they could just sit in Athaloran and be trading partners and allies for us, which is a huge bonus if we can ally with them all, which is why I'm a little bit concerned about attacking Paravon, because they tend to be always allied with them. These are the guys that we're likely, or possibly, potentially likely to attack. Bugmans, I think we will ally with you for now. If we need to trade out some of the settlements, maybe we will, maybe we'll betray you, I don't know. It's not the biggest of concerns right now for us, and while it will eventually possibly become a concern, we'll deal with it when it gets to it. Alrighty, then we've got military access with Carrick-Norn. You know what, I'm gonna hold off on that because that'll piss off the Wood Elves more. Let's do the defensive alliances with our little Imperial factions, giving us a vision of everywhere, but not defensive alliances, I think. Defensive alliance, or not military alliances, rather. Alright.
It is good to see fellow sons of the Empire this day. I will.
And we're doing plenty of diplomacy, which is appropriate. Like I said, I wanted to play Karl with a little bit more statesman-mindedly, if that makes sense. Clan Skull wants to peace out. Where is Clan Skull? They have one settlement. Oh, they're sitting right here in /Scrat. Oh, I just realized that we confederated Elspeth in March stance. And while taking attrition in the mountain pass at that. Which I think we can't avoid, can we? Well, it is what it is. You. Defensive. Okay, you are no good. Goodbye. Not paying for you. Delphartwiggins, you... I was hoping that you could actually go directly towards /Scratch Deep, but alas, neither you nor Gavin von Wolfen can. I take it this means that Elspeth has at least one more army running around somewhere here. Alright, delete those. I'm gonna have to deal with all that as well. Okay, yeah, ooh. We got a lot of... Okay, wait, hey, and you've got some Wissenberg's welcomers. Okay, wait. Elector count, I guess we'll make it else. Wait.
The graveyard rose.
Let me just see here. I assume she's gonna need to be reset. Yeah, she's definitely gonna need to be reset. The AI didn't do this. What about the quests? Level 10 and level 15. Ah, damn, she has both of them. I was hoping that we could get her to get the quest rewards, but alas, it looks like that's not going to happen, at least not right now. Oh well, I do notice that we can probably stack enemy leadership reductions with her, which is going to be useful. I got a banner of eternal flame. That'll be nice. Spotter, Spyglass, I don't really care for. Trickster's Shard, basic armor, well, I'm not going to give you the Trickster's helmet. Oh, we probably got a bunch of other lords and heroes that got a bunch of extra items that we don't necessarily need. Alright, we'll have to take a look at those, or I might even take a look at those between the episodes just to, you know, lower the annoyance. You or you? One of you has to suffer attrition this turn. Just to be beside Elspeth in case the Skaven attack. I guess we're gonna send you this way then. Alright, now speaking of Elspeth, oh, she has Wissenberg's Welcomers as well. Oh man, we got 2 of those immediately, I love it. What are your direct buffs in terms of your army? Do you actually buff any specific units? A Dark Lady, Dark Walker, Advisors of Neln gives us upkeep reduction for all gunnery units, plus 4 engineer capacity. Yeah, she really needs a reset. Lore of Death spells, characters faction-wide, battle healing cap, so it doesn't look like she buffs any particular unit, which is a good thing. Because we have Gelt competing, and we have other gunnery armies competing with what she's got going, so that'll be just fine. Also, oh, you have an engineer, a high-ranked engineer as well. Lose all of these items, keep these items, however, and you have Hazard Tactician. Ballistic Plating for the Lord? Huh, that's quite interesting. Though I assume that Ballistic Plating doesn't work if, I assume it doesn't work if the Lord doesn't have any missile block chance. I'm gonna need to modify that. We're probably gonna need to reset this guy as well because the AI stupidly is wasteful with its points, but that's alright. It's a big confed. We can lose the Empire Archers and frankly even the Free Company out of this army. We'll keep the Pistoliers as they will be useful, and it looks like, ooh, what are you? Dwarven Plate Armor. Not bad. It's all units as opposed to just infantry, but it's only half as much and no additional speed. Alrighty, now, are those the only lords that we got out of that thing? I think it was. And I also forgot who we were. Wait, who the heck are you? Serene, character experience gain, this is all fine. Oh, I guess we got a wizard out of that as well. Huh, go figure. Alrighty, well, we got wizards in these armies. I guess we got another army that we can pop you into. You are rank 3, which isn't much, but, well, you're free. And it's not a bad thing. Frankly, Myrmidia could work well with a Celestial Wizard. Probably a decent way to do it. Alrighty, anyway, I guess you're just going to go up here and then we'll have to wait and see. Wow, we could also use you to steal tech, though, depending on whether there's an actual, you know, success chance. Wizard, 5 out of 4. There must be another wizard somewhere. Okay, we're gonna have to take a look at the heroes as well.
Yes, my lord.
Who the heck are you? Oh! We do have another army out here. Oh, interesting. Oh wow, minus 11. That's a goodbye to that. Let's host Festag. Let's delete the stable/livery here. Let's delete this. And you can host Festag for now. You, also not in range of Elspeth, can pop into Volgan just for now. And we can keep the halberds and... Oh, we can actually swap them around with your army a little bit. Because then we won't have to evolve these pikes or these swords into halberds, which we were planning to do. All right, that works out very well for us. Beautiful. I mean, that's all basic garbage troops, but, you know, we'll definitely get some, or plenty of mileage out of them. Alright, and I'm just like lost as to how many buildings we now have and how much we need to do with making everything decent. Alright, Rally Field is out. We are going to want to build this stuff, but we will want to wait until the Council of Burgomeisters is up and running. Wissenberg and Wissenland itself, you are going to want to go into Council of Burgomeisters as well, and then we'll need to upgrade these at least by 1 level. Also need the Public Order building in this territory, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Mason. We will uncollect the income, we'll demolish the building, and then we'll build the wine there. Funnily enough, this will complete a province for these guys, but, well. Alrighty, and then... Oh, this also completed the Dukelberg province, meaning we can go into Council of Burgomeisters and then upgrade the town here. Grunberg is... Well, this place is fine, but we'll need to host Festag. And, man, minus 13, eh? I think for at least a couple of turns we're going to need the additional income. Don't collect the income here, though, and then get rid of these. I'm willing to bet that Malagor will be coming for us, but Elspeth should be able to deal with him. Possibly herself, possibly not herself, because, again, she needs a reset. Frankly, well, we should attack slash scratch deep with her to get the additional XP, and then swap out to a different lord afterwards. So it is what it is. All right, you guys will just take the loss of income for the turn, and then we'll swap out the units next turn. And we got Outriders coming in, but funnily enough, Elspeth does not have much in the way of Outriders. In fact, she has none. Oh, we got Empire Knights as well, who can be evolved into either Black Rose, Blazing Sun, or Reiksguard. Well, we'll definitely have some Black Rose Knights with Elspeth. Although probably not as much as a direct Grandmaster that deals with it. Who is Waldemar? Who the heck are you? Oh, right, this guy. You know what? I think we need to save the money, buddy. We'll get rid of the 2 spears. I know that they've ranked up decently, but we have too much now here. Alright, you can do this, but you can still follow along, like so. We'll still level him and we'll still give him an actual army. You are in Council of Burgomeisters now, and we do want to start on the Bleeding Stone, and then I guess the basic walls as well, and then go into Host Vestag. Karl, in the meantime, let's level you up. We've got one other thing to do, one very important thing to counteract all of that nastiness. Sigmar's War, Deadly... Alright, we should probably save for rank 10. Alright, fine, save it for it then. And Bruckner. We are the elite. Alright, and then Wizard. I should have just thought of something. Are you able to move to Karl? You are, but Karl isn't able to summon the Elector state troops here. That's alright though. You Wizard? Let's start moving through, I guess, untapped potential. For the miscast-based chance reduction. And I don't remember what the Galarazz battle is like, but I guess we're about to find out. So, Galarazz. It should be fine. Emperor Karl Franz has received an urgent message from the College of the Celestial Order, and we just got 2 Celestial Wizards. The Celestial Wizards have been concerned by the unusual eddies within the Wind of Azir that portend doom for the Empire. Triangulating the source of the threat, it is revealed that a great orc war boss has arisen somewhere in the lands south of the Black Mountains. His fearsome reputation has gathered many green-skinned tribes behind him in a Wa, which is now headed for the main route from the Badlands into the Empire, Blackfire Pass. Whilst messengers are dispatched to alert the dwarfs, Karl Franz prepares to face the greenskin onslaught, aware that this is the greatest test that he has yet faced in his reign as Emperor. Teleport. Alrighty, it says a decisive victory, etc., etc., but we've got more enemies coming. Oh, we got some dwarfen allies. Well, isn't that lovely? Yeah. Karl Franz has so far shunned the use of Galarazz, symbol of the Emperor, for fear of further angering those hostile to his coronation. But should he be victorious this day, then the Warhammer can be claimed with clear conscience. But first he must face a massive army of orcs and goblins.
Now is the time, men of the Empire, to unite, for the orcs gather. Beyond the pass, a war boss draws to him all that is foul. An orc horde beyond imagining. As Sigmar fought, so shall we. We will become part of the legend. We will wipe the orcs from our door. And only when this is done, when our nation has healed, shall I take up MARAZ. For Sigmar, for the Empire, for the Warhammer! Is neither boar nor deer, no. As Sigmar fought, so shall we. We will become part of the legend by order of the Grand Theogenist. Show no mercy!
Alrighty, here we go. The quest battle for Galarazz, appropriately taking place in Blackfire Pass, such that Karl can repeat the actions of Sigmar 2,000 years prior and defend the Empire against the hordes of orcs. Anyway, Karl will start the battle by charging towards the enemy Lord Hakfospike, and by the looks of it, taking about half of his HP for the cost of about 10 to 15% of Karl's. This is also going to be the debut battle of our first great swords. Taking a little bit longer than I'd perhaps like to get great swords on the field, but it's about damn time. And though their armor piercing might be a little bit wasted on regular orc boys, they should be able to hack their way through them at decent speed. That said, we have been taking damage. We can see the bordermen have lost about 40% of their HP due to the fact that the enemy's Doom Diver catapult has been focusing them. Now, the enemy will use a massive foot of Gork on the Imperial foot. Foot versus foot, I guess, here. But unfortunately for the foot of Gork, we counteract that with the Scepter of Stability popping up the spell resistance up to 50 and then backing off at the same time as well, which means, by the looks of it, the Imperial foot survived the foot of Gork fairly well. The word foot has lost all meaning. Anyway, the rest of the enemy army has charged forth and is embroiled in a fight against our Imperial foot and great swords alike, though a couple of our units have taken damage. Karl has, in the meantime, brought down the enemy lord, and Bruckner has led the Zintler's Reichsguard and the regular Reichsguard into the fight here. Kaiserlich Reitergarde is focusing on the enemy range units, while it looks like Zintler's Reichsguard have taken care of the enemy Doom Divers, which will no longer kill off those bordermen. In the meantime, reinforcements have arrived. Always nice to see the gyrocopters of the dwarfs coming to our aid, especially as they're extremely strong in SFO. And they come in for a bombing run a little bit. Hey, I just saw you bomb a few of the Reichsguard. And you know the dwarves wouldn't take the same kind of thing from the Imperials if the Imperials were to drop ordnance on them. Come on now. Anyway, in the meantime, the enemies got more reinforcements on the way. A giant tons more goblins, some some spiders and an Arachnarok and some wolf rider chariots. Lots of stuff, basically. The giant was unfortunately surrounded by two piles of gobos. We're going to drop the Gehenna's Golden Hounds right on top of them. While it looks like we're getting a little bit of help from the gyrocopters attacking the giants, they're not doing anything crazy in terms of damage, as these are the anti-infantry steam basic gyrocopter types rather than the anti-large brimstone guns. Bruckner is still working together with our two Reichsguards units against the enemy trolls here, though it looks like the giant is moving in, and we're probably better off backing off, lest it kill off too many of them. And at least for now, Karl is busy with the enemy lord. Spiders are moving towards us in droves together with that Arachnarok, and we're going to have to try to counter it by essentially trapping it against our infantry line and then gunning it down with the handgunners. I gotta admit, the Arachnarok Spider does match the terrain quite a bit of Blackfire Pass. It does feel very appropriate here. Oh, that's a fantastic shot, too. You gotta admit, this game is absolutely beautiful, and even if it is running on the same engine as the first game, it's still fantastic. Alright, just taking in the sights. Anyway, the Dwarfen aid has arrived a little bit too late, perhaps, as, we've knocked out most of the enemy by the looks of it, at least their first couple of waves, and now the Arachnarok is trapped and being gunned down by our, handgunners. Karl has moved to fight the enemy giant while we peel away the Reichsguard and Bruckner, who are fairly damaged now, and get ready to charge them towards those goblin wolf chariots in the background, while Bruckner perhaps hunts the enemy lord. Looks like the Arachnarok is at this point routed, having taken enough damage from being surrounded by our infantry and from our warrior priest and empire captain, and of course the hits from the various handgunners as well. And speaking of handgunners, we could probably do a very diverse handgun type of army. We could do Gunderman's Surefires, Hawkland long rifles, Null Ironsides, regular handguns. I'm probably missing Borderman, our handgun variant as well. That's 5 different unit types of only guns. Outriders use long guns as well. That actually sounds like a decent army composition. We could do that with Elspeth and give her a few artillery pieces if we wanted to, though she probably wants more Null Ironsides. I'll think about it, but it's certainly something. And certainly something to consider. Anyway, in the meantime, Karl has by and large defeated the enemy giant, though he has taken a fair bit of damage, admittedly. He has also done a lot of damage, I'm sure, and defeating a giant one-on-one after fighting the enemy lord and all that is a pretty good test of him. I think he's earned, after this performance, the right to take up Galarazz, and looks like one unit remains in Blackfire Pass, which is a unit of trolls, which is actually shocking. Absolutely shocking. This is a unit that should have routed long before this, because, again, trolls have terrible leadership. Not to worry, though, that terrible leadership will show as soon as Karl charges in. The trolls will shatter, and with that, the battle is ours. Those gyrocopters, honestly, they've been doing a fair bit of damage to us by firing near us. Well, what can you do? I don't know. I don't know, dwarfs. Alrighty, there we go. A very nice fight, and once again, I'm really enjoying taking these quest battles on in the early game as early as possible, because it makes them reasonably tough. It may have been a decisive victory, in part because we still had the dwarf reinforcements, but a lot of our units took a fair bit of damage while fighting. As there's Reiksguard down about 50% of its HP, and the Order of the Reich, plus one of the units of greatswords, halberdiers, etc., etc. Bruckner himself, though he did start the battle hurt, admittedly, nonetheless. Anyway, we could heal up, but we now have the reward from all that, so we will pardon the captives. Instead, we're going to need the money really, really badly, so pardon. And we got another peasant. And there we go, Galarazz, +2 control all provinces. That alone is worth doing it as fast as possible, plus a massive increase in damage against Warriors of Chaos, Demons of Chaos, Chaos Dwarfs, and Norska, all of which I'm sure will plague us for a fair bit. This also means that we can give that very useful buffing Runefang to somebody else. Realistically, or lawfully, what we should do is make a lord, name him Kurt Helborg, and then give him the Reikland Runefang. It would make the most sense, by far. I make him command a much more heavily Reiksguard-heavy army, kind of what I wanted to do in my original Karl run, and kind of never got the chance to do. Especially since Karl himself isn't going to go super heavy on the Reiksguard. I think that's a pretty darn solid option there as well. I'm still very salty that neither Kurt Helborg nor Ludwig Schwarzhelm are in the game. Why? We have Bruckner, but we don't have Helborg, who's literally the second in command of the entire Empire, the commander of all the Empire's military forces, and Grandmaster of the Reiksguard as well. While Ludwig Schwarzhelm is the bodyguard of Karl Franz, who's constantly with him and his personal standard bearer, and yeah, the fact that neither of them are in the game is a bit odd. Plus, they're essentially the two greatest swordsmen in the Empire on top of all that. But I digress. Ooh, Hammer the Witch's Great Cannons, and there we go. Galarazz acquired, and casualty replenishment, etc., etc., etc. All good. And Karl is now up to rank 22, soon to be 25, and yet another battle, plus the Emblems of the Emperor set piece, which will give us another 2 control for all provinces, which again, we could really, really use. The more massive control bonuses we have everywhere, the easier and easier it'll be to counteract all of the negative confederations that, admittedly, we're still going to have to deal with. Oh. Huh. How did that happen? Wait, are you fighting Montfort? They're fighting Ooh, oh, I didn't expect that. Huh. I really didn't expect Ziflin to start fighting Paravent. That's quite interesting. How can we turn this to our advantage? Hey, we're strength rank 1 now. Do we attack Paravent by joining the war with Ziflin fighting, though it'll piss off the Wood Elves? Or do we allow Ziflin to wipe out Paravent, then betray Ziflin in favor of the Wood Elves? I don't know. It's kind of an interesting situation, but yeah, interesting also that they're fighting the Bretonnians. I'm willing to bet, yeah, looks like the Bretonnians are going to really dislike Ziflin, eh? This is kind of an interesting situation. Especially if we want to conquer some of the Bretonnian territories for ourselves. Anyway, folks, with that, I think this is going to be the perfect place to call the episode here. The thing is, there's a fair bit of admin to do, just like take a look at the heroes and lords that we just got, take their items off, find any additional items, and I want to do a count of the units that we've got to make sure that there aren't a few more units that we can delete, essentially, because we have way too many units and this is costing us way too much. This would be me vacillating way too long, and you know, I don't want to waste the screen time doing that. So I'll do some of it off screen, and then we'll get back into it, and then hopefully be able to fairly quickly end the turn and keep going with now a much bigger empire. Next episode, we should have at least 3 new armies on field properly. Okay, not this one, but Dolph is getting ready to be ready. Just needs his outriders and those war wagons with grenade launchers. And Elspeth's army should be built up. And, are we able to build Null Ironsides? Well, okay, we'll find out next turn. And then, of course, Gavin's army as well. How soon can we get another Drakwold rider up and running, incidentally? 11 turns. And yes, we could grab these guys and reset them. But I'll think about it, because it's a 15-turn cooldown, and it might behoove us to wait a little bit until we unlock a few more of the various unit types. Anyway, having a lot of fun. I know that we've been using Karl pretty much exclusively, but it's the early game, and the main army does have a tendency to do that, but we're just about ready to split off in various directions with various armies. So stay tuned for more Empire. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes and the dual episode on Saturday. If you're into that sort of thing, all glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.